I think it's normal in PvP. I mean, Todd said that PvP and IEM wasn't a normal PvP, so I don't know if you're Dragon. You tell me. In the top left is the Red Protoss, recently full-time esports. It is feardragon. In the bottom right is the blue Protoss. It is Camaril. Camaril. It's like chamomile, but not really. And not at all spelled the same. So feardragon doesn't slap down a forge. So is it going to be DTs? Last time he sent me a replay, he proxy stargated a Terran with the old, you know, shield battery, void ray, tempest shebang thing. I was pretty disappointed. But you know, sometimes, you know how they say like you can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends, and friends are family or whatever bullshit that is. I didn't really choose feardragon as a friend, you know. It just kind of, it was basically being like a family with him, you know. Like we just did a lot of casts together. We like talked about stuff that was important in regards to StarCraft, and we just kept on talking about StarCraft. So I didn't choose this DT rusher, cannon rusher, Stargate, proxy, void guy as a friend. He's basically family. Anyways, he is so far doing kind of normal things. He goes for only one gateway though, so that's not super normal. Thank you, Marine Wolf, for the 4-month resub. Beep. Like an alarm clock beep? I didn't choose the feardragon life. Feardragon life chose me. Yeah. Exactly. Twilight Council is on the way. Why not just go for the same opening though? Why not go for double gateway? He's literally in chat, so that's why I'm asking him. Mysteries soon to be resolved, I'm sure. So this is kind of funny. He did wall in his opponent. It's nice for scouting. And in this case, it was such an awkward wall off from our blue Protoss to begin with that it meant that his stalkers kind of got, they either are all inside or they're only 1 and 1. So it's not like he could be aggressive with them, with both of them. So has to take his time, kill the pylon. Feardragon scouts at its stalkers first. He has a full scout of the main base, actually repeatedly. Although he didn't see all the way to the back, so he missed the robo. And a kind of interestingly placed shield battery. It's the anti-oracle shield battery, I'm sure, but it usually is in the mineral line. And as you can see, like literally the probes would kind of, they wouldn't really lose a lot of mining time from it. But anyways, it works. If it was an oracle, I guess the gas geyser probes would die, but that's fine. Observer first, some safe play, especially if your opponent has the clan tag Mass DT and you're playing a PvP. I think it's very safe and very wise to go for an observer first. Attempt at a scout or whatever that was is easily taken care of by a couple of stalkers. Warp Crate finishes up along with the Dark Shrine. And feardragon does have a proxy pylon already set up, ready to go. Also guarding himself, I suppose, against the Stargate because he did not get to see the robo timing. And the DTs are being warped in offensively. The Observer made its way across the map. We do have a second one, though, headed towards the natural. So this seems like it's going to be a disaster. But yeah, of course. Right. And if you guys don't know, because you rarely ever see Blink DTs, the upgrade on the Dark Shrine is actually pretty sick. I can't think of a cooler animation for upgrades on any other building. Unless it's the Carbot mod and it's the Marines dancing in the tech lab. That's the only thing that beats this. Otherwise, you know, the whole eyes glowing. Oh, by the way, if you didn't know, the Dark Shrine is 3 faces covering a little pylon thingamajigger. So, you know, there are 3 different faces as well. Anyways. Well, but why? But why though? What's wrong with this base? I can't wait till this base recalls his army in a desperate base trade and wins him the game. So yeah, DT Blink is on the way if he gets hallucination or anything up to the high grounds. Wait, this is Port Alexander. It's really hard to blink into the main base. Not sure what he's gonna do. I mean, he's been unable to use the DTs. I don't think he knew that though. I don't think he ever scouted the observer. Or I could be wrong. Maybe you saw it, but he just has kept him here, waiting, hoping for the Zeratul DT as he continues to warp in here. That's not feardragon's warp prism. That's Cameril's, who, by the way, has not scouted the main base in a long time. I guess he saw the Dark Shrine, but I mean, he doesn't know about this proxy. And he is waiting for the DTs to show up, and now they're not showing up, so he doesn't really know what's going on, because who would? So back to the whole thing I was talking about in Diesel's game, just trying to keep your head down and playing the most basic PvP that you can, with maybe a little bit of safety. So my only criticism really for Camaril, like maybe another Lieutenant Phoenix around the map type deal, think about hidden bases once you see this hasn't been taken. But then also shield batteries, just in case their plan was to go for like an Archon bust, which is very old school and doesn't really happen anymore, but still. But anyways, it's becoming like a regular game, and if he started to overthink this, then he might start falling behind. So it's good that he continues a normal game. Gonna go for some Warp Prism harassment. He's checking, man. He's looking. I think he's now considering the possibility of a hidden base. But would he check this one? Yeah. I must have missed the DT poking in, but I knew something poked in. Something saw the observer. It's still an interesting choice after your DTs have been rebuffed to go for more DTs, though. Just throwing it out there. But at this current counts, with Camaril's macro really starting to waver here, they blink onto that army and they probably win. They do have +1. Camaril is very close to it, but he's missing 2 chunky units from the defense, as well as a Warp Prism for micro. DT's warped in defensively. It makes sense. I guess the observer... No, it's still there. Well, he could use that observer to help him, but he's not thinking about it right now. DTs deal a crazy amount of damage. Oh, we're on the wrong overlay. How did that change? How did that go from being able to hover over it and seeing the DT kill count in that Cyclone game to this? I don't understand StarCraft, whatever. So Camaril, I thought he was going to look around for more hidden bases. I mean, he kind of has. I mean, look at his vision. He's checked like literally every base except this one. This poor lad. This poor guy. You know, some of them might have been accidental, but it really looked like he was doing it on purpose for a second there. That's hilarious. I would call map hacks if that made any sense at all. Like, there's some type of hack going on here. Like, you hack the person's brain to make them scout everything but your hidden nexus. I don't... It just shouldn't work. Okay. So, I mean, Camaril should really... Seeing this late of a nexus, but you're still being... there's still no attack. There's still no attack. It's hard to tell if Camaril paid attention to when that DT walked in, because I didn't see it, but... You haven't been attacked. They didn't take a nexus. They're still warping in units, like... What?
You're under attack. Siege up.
Wouldn't you just look like do a double check? Like, okay, hold on here. Like, I must have missed something. Look how many DTs there are. There's 18 DTs. Now, not all of them on the front lines, but that's still a lot of DTs. Let's do quick math here. It's 8 plus 6. So it's 14. It's 14 DTs on the front line, and they have blink, and they have +1. If Camaril was using his money, like, this would be actually still no contest. Like, feardragon would lose. But since Camaril has 2,000 minerals worth of units that he's not actually warping in, these DTs could win. I mean, first of all, they're gonna go for the base trade, so it's not even a direct army fight. This army now with 3 more Archons probably would be too powerful. Recall in about half the army. What recall can allow, basically. But it's not quick enough. Oh, it was in the natural anyways. Well, it's not quick enough to save the main base. And a ton of probes go down, and he can blink and attempt to get away. The observer was recalled or was here, whatever one. This observer was still around, so DT's defensively don't work out, and it is going to turn into a bit of a base race. It looks like Cameral's trying to circumvent what he expects to be a DT blink. But in doing so... Can that DT army take on the army here? No. Well, not anymore. Good probes around a couple of those DTs. How many blinks and kills the other Nexus? Camera, luckily you have 2,000 minerals, man, because you have to be replacing buildings left and right. He kills the natural, but it actually kind of takes his sweet time getting to the main base. It's all about speed in a base race. You gotta keep your cool, but you also kind of gotta be speedy about it. And these DTs have slowly but surely taken out the army. The observers got lost this way, that way. I guess they went to the Archons to save them, but they didn't save the Archons, and they wasn't around to save the Stalkers and the Zealots, and the DTs take care of that army, but it still has to deal with this one back here. Cameral does replace the Nexus in his main. Doesn't have a lot of probes, I guess, out on the map to do anything else, but the Nexus of feardragon will go down. Guess what, though? Guess what? I called it, I nailed it. I knew it. He doesn't know about this base. The last base to be unscouted. And Cameril is not going over there to scout it. It's I understand to a degree, right? Like you do the whole like shift click around the map and it barely misses the pylon or some shit, right? You don't think about doing it again, but at this point in time, there's obviously a Nexus, but it's also a base race, and it's hard to say if feardragon stopped it down as his Nexus died, or if he had one this entire time, and it's still got minerals. It's hard to say for Cameril. He's gonna lose every single building. He's gonna be forced to rebuild everything in his main base, well, in feardragon's main base, sorry, which is mined out, so that's not a very effective base to take. He's also gonna be supply blocked for a very long time. He didn't start any tech before losing a lot of his own. He can start like a 7 export right now. Well, actually, he couldn't because there's no pylon. Like, yeah, he's gonna look around. He sees a Nexus. Gonna assume that's the one that stopped feardragon from popping up, you know, in the chat box saying like, oh, he doesn't have a Nexus. Gonna be like, okay, I got that one. And it looks like eventually he will find the one that's being built up. It has feardragon's tech, couple of production facilities. A single cannon, not too helpful. This base will go down, but if it takes anything with it, that might be worth it. Oh, go for the Dark Shrine, buddy. Just kill it. Just go for it. Just get that out of the equation from the get-go, please. Ugh. Disgusting. feardragon still at 16 DTs, by the way. They cleaned up the main base entirely. Nothing here. Does he know about the main?
Base burning to the ground part of the plan?
No, it doesn't. DT Shrine does go down. They're both supply blocked. They're both without production, but DT's in this scenario a little bit faster at killing things. Actually, I guess they're a little bit faster, just like as far as movement speed goes, but they're so much faster at killing things, especially with Blink. Now, half of them go up to the main base, which seems like a little bit of a mistake, but even if Cameril was microing his Archons, that's where the Blink would come in, so all of his Archons die. Recall to his main. feardragon saves 1, but I believe he sent... I said half. No, it wasn't half. It was like most of his ETs went up there, actually. Oh, there they are. Okay. Yeah, so about half. Half went up there. They lose their lives, last one included, but they did take out a lot of units. It wasn't a totally unfair trade. Where's that War Prism? The War Prism could be pretty huge here. You could save a unit from dying if you realize that it's going to be blinked upon. I mean, the foresight into that would be pretty extreme, but obviously like an Archon alone might be picked off, and a War Prism could save it. A War Prism could also be used to like transport just one of these units around the map and try and get feardragon's bases, but it's very hard to think of in the middle of the fight. And is this on purpose? Like, is Cameril intentionally trying to Sim City his Immortal in? Because that doesn't work against DTs. Did you blink on top of the Nexus? I guess you did. Well, the Immortal is no longer blocked in. The Nexus goes down here, but Camarilla, those are your last buildings, buddy. You have 480 minerals and 1 probe, and you're not building any more. Okay, let's. Nope, that's the Nexus. There we go. Okay, okay. Things aren't over yet. There are still 2 observers, 1 with the army, 1 over here. This might be better off shift-clicking around the map to see where else feardragon's taking bases. By the way, feardragon can take, like, 4 more bases. Yeah, 4 more bases and a lot of assimilators. So, just by sheer bank, he wins this game. Camarilla realizing that maybe Nexus aren't really possible is gonna go for just a lot of assimilators. But feardragon has a very mobile army. He'd have to hope for an actual fight. Of which I believe he wins. Well, we're gonna find out. Okay, blinks away. And 7 DTs here. Best case scenario was no, actually, like feardragon could macro out of this. There is really not a best case scenario for our poor blue Protoss, who is probably ready to rage. He's got the keyboard underneath his hands right now, but he is thinking about picking it up and slamming it against the desk and breaking it right now. And he's just going through the motions, pleading to whatever god he worships that this fucking DTer won't actually win this game. But I think that the DTer will, I'm sorry to say. The mobility, if feardragon was broke, then you just ask for a draw. It's dumb, but that would be the best case scenario. If feardragon is not broke, something that Camarilla knows, because he hasn't gotten the updated, like, oh, feardragon hasn't made his base yet. So he is just stuck. He's stuck. Splitting against the DT is also kind of difficult to do. Just the sheer damage output of DTs is like, you're gonna miscalculate it, in my opinion, like 9 times out of 10. You're gonna be like, surely this army wins, and then it doesn't. I know feardragon is up to 4 Nexus, by the way. Rebuilding his gateway. Camarilla doesn't have blink even on his stalkers, so yeah, I mean, even if he did 3 stalkers, that's not a very strong army. DT's blink forward, going for one of the last buildings, not quite the last one though. He's gonna lose 1 DT, it looks like. Actually, he's gonna take the fight, but that was a bad idea, very bad idea. Wait, does feardragon actually lose this game? Feardragon. Feardragon. But feardragon. So if you don't have units, then can you win this game? Feardragon's response to losing his DTs is probably the best response possible. Go for a forge. You still have a ton of minerals. So pick 1 base and throw down cannons. And, well, eventually shield batteries maybe, but... Spend your damn money. He can't spend it. Well, it's not that he can't spend it. Now, it's that he really should not have. He should have held on to quite a bit of cash in case one of his bases is found out. In case he needs to build 1 billion cannons. So, I actually don't mind that despite having 3 Nexus up at one point, he didn't spend 800 minerals. He would have done that all in probes or building more gateways and then teching, and it would have been better off in this forge and these cannons, which is exactly what's happening, but the cannons aren't done. 1 goes down immediately, no cancel. Other 1 is canceled, but the pylon's focus fired. Doesn't get the stalker. 2 cannons might finish here, but an immortal... The immortal being brought along with the stalker, which I thought was actually just like, you know, kind of a why not thing, but it ends up being super effective. If the immortal wasn't here, maybe 3 of those cannons actually do finish. So, does feardragon lose this? He managed to get a Twilight Council up. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's right there. Duh. And if you get to a Twilight Council, then you can get to a Dark Shrine. But his next problem is getting a gateway. There we go. So, unfortunately, his forge gamma didn't work out, and that was a lot of minerals lost there. But if he gets to like 1 DT, that doesn't win, right? That doesn't... Yeah, okay. It's over, you can just leave. Oh, okay. Oh my god. I can just imagine the relief in Camarilla right now. Like, oh my god. I'm gonna fast forward here. Unless feardragon can get like 10 DTs again. GG. Oh my god. I think you would have won that if you just looked around for the bases. The buildings. But well, you didn't have to look around. You knew what the buildings were. I think you win that if you just target the buildings. Because you can get 2 out of 3 of those buildings. And then the last one is probably sniperable by the DTs, right? Thank you, Rick Benz, for the 100 bits. Should send some to feardragon as well. Watch this clip after the game. Okay, hold on. Should go in game for this.
Oh, what? No, fuck! Oh my god, I was trying to right-click on the probe and they derped!
Oh!
Oh, what? No, fuck!
Oh my god!
Oh.
I see it. I literally see what happened. How did that... Wait. Legitimately, though, how did that... You literally A-clicked, right? Didn't you? No, you didn't. That was still a move command. Oh my god. Oh my god. That was still a move command. Oh, oof, painful. But it's about as painful as losing to you, in fairness to Camaril.